Okay, so let's get started with part 4 of chapter 4, and we're going to talk about communicating with healthcare professionals. And one of the most important things that you can do once you arrive in the hospital is ensure that you give the person receiving that patient a very accurate and detailed verbal report. So that's why your responsibilities do not end just because you get to the hospital. You are responsible in making sure that there's a good transition of care from pre-hospital to in-hospital, which means you need to give a good oral report to hospital staff members who have at least your level of training or higher. So remember, we do not turn care over to someone lower trained than us, so it has to be an equivalent level of care there. So the oral report is going to consist of some components. We've got the opening information, which involved the name, chief complaint, and illness. Detailed information, which is information not provided during the radio report. Any important history not already provided. Pertinent findings of the physical exam, patient's response to treatment, vital signs, and other information. So let's look at this in a little more detail. So one thing I just want to go ahead and throw out is that it doesn't have to go in this exact order. With the hospitals that you transport to, find out how that the receiving triage nurse or the nurse that's going to be taking care of that patient inputs the information into whatever system they use, whether it be a computerized system or a paper system. Because if you can be on the same sheet of music and giving them information in a flow that is conducive to them filling out their work, it's going to go easier for both of you. So some of the information you're going to need to give them when you get there is the patient's name, their chief complaint, and their illnesses. And nowadays, most of the hospitals now, you're having to fill out a little form before you get there, or right when you get there, so that the patient can be entered initially into the computer system so that they can even be registered quickly. Detailed information. This is any information not provided during the radio report. However, the receiving nurse may not be the same person that received your radio communication, so you may need to repeat what you gave in your radio report. Any important history not already provided is very beneficial here because it goes with the transition of care. So in your radio report is going to be very short, very to the point, so that they know you're coming and they know you either have a critical patient, not critical patient, or somewhere in between. The oral report, when you get to the facility, this is where you're going to give that detailed history, because you know some of your patients are going to have a history that's 2 or 3 pages long. The pertinent findings of your physical exam, and maybe some that are not so pertinent. This is the time to go ahead and reveal that stuff, and you want to let them know what treatments you administered and how they reacted to the treatments. Are they getting better, worse? Give a set of, reveal your vital signs that you took with them, and you want to give them a list of medications as well, or give them the medications. And then you want to make sure you get your paperwork signed before you leave. And make sure you get the name of the nurse that you gave report to so that you can document that as well. Alright, so that concludes this section of the communicating with hospital personnel. We'll be getting into our next section, which will have to do with radio communications.